My name's Angelo, and welcome to We Want Picks. This is the only channel dedicated to UFC fight picks and DraftKings lineups run by MMA insiders and professional fighters. Every week, I join Dan Kramer and Nick Newell, two longtime professional fighters that have fought at the highest levels on the planet, as well as Jacob Lyons, a skinny kid from Indiana. So join us every single week for our full fight card breakdowns, our individual fight card breakdowns, our betting guide, and our DraftKings lineups. UFC Vegas 35 is Saturday, and this is now our third show with Chris Reilly. If you don't know, Chris sets the lines for Monkey Knife Fight. We're doing this so often, I'm even naming this segment called Line Setting. So we bring Chris on. He talks about his lines, why he moved them, if he didn't move them, how he got there. And then you guys can figure out which ones you want to play. Go to wewantpicks.com/MKF. Grab yourself a promo. Play these lines, and you can almost triple your money with every single win. How are you, Chris?
I am doing well. How are you guys doing?
We're good, man. It's a crazy week, personal and content-wise. Personal, my kids are home from daycare because COVID exposure. Content-wise, we have Jake Paul. We have Vegas 35, which is also the tough finale. So it's all a lot going on.
No, I understand that. And you guys sit there and do so much that I understand, totally respect when you got personal stuff. Hence why we're filming today. Sometimes it's out of our hands, and you do enough for considering, this is on the side and stuff, the effort and the content. You guys have been just dishing content out lately a lot. So no, it's been great. And, just kind of circling back to that, I'd like to give a big shout out to my boy, Parker Porter. No one believed in him. And I had his line set so high, so that was awesome. Tell him I got how many X's does he need in a shirt size? We'll send him a Monkey Knife.
Yeah, I'll ask him. I mean, anybody who watched that interview, I was obviously super high on Parker. Dan was not. He was more just not necessarily down on Parker. He just believed in Chase Sherman. But, I knew I've known Parker a very long time, and I knew he was ready for that fight. So I
believed in the chins, and that's what I kind of base that line off of. And, sometimes you get them right, and then sometimes you get killed. So you got to move forward and trust the process, not so much the result. And
a couple of your lines last week were, William Knight was free money, like you said.
Yeah, happens.
A couple of your lines, your main event line was perfect. It was like two strikes. Two strikes was that for Cannoneer.
Yeah, what was crazy about that one? I actually remember that because I was pretty pumped. I had to move him up just because of the action going on the over. And then I ended up moving him to, I think, 108, and he finished with 106. And it was like, so the unders, when I moved him to 108, kind of got away from us. Because, obviously all our bets are 90% of them are over, under.
Yeah, nobody's splitting is so hard.
It is so hard. And when we do it, we clean up. I always kind of consider it like a roulette table, where it's got red and black. And then when we can hit the over and the under, that's like us hitting the green. And if you pull it out, good for you. But those are the ones we kind of thrive for or try to get. Obviously, it's not in our hands, but it's pretty tough. But it happens from time to time. And when it does, it's sweet. And then we had lines that we got killed on. You guys crushed me. What happened to – oh, shoot, who was the second to last fight? And it was against Guido, right? And
Guido and Madsen, yeah.
Yeah, I kind of had – what did I have on that? 39? I think, he had that by the first round.
Well, he didn't wrestle. He just didn't wrestle at all. And everybody was expecting it to be a murder. We were pretty high on the fact that it would be closer than most anticipated. We disagreed with win, but we thought it would be a much closer fight. I didn't expect that many strikes. It was just a jab for 15 minutes.
Sometimes that happens, and that's why I try not to boast too much when I do well, because I'm very aware.
Coming around.
Yeah, that it can go either way. So, and this week was a tough one, like you said, with the tough finale, no pun intended, but kind of. But and my lines this week really came off the basis of my connections here. It's been nice having this little circle of friends and people who watch it, including you guys. So when I'm texting you, asking about certain fights, you do realize you're kind of helping me with my lines.
Fighting myself. Yeah.
You're kind of hurting yourself. I got to be a little careful. I just gave out a secret. I'm going to be like, Angelo, what's up with this guy? Throws tons of strikes. And the next thing I know, he's just like a jiu-jitsu grappler, Ryan Hall. It's like, oh, bro, you got me on that. No. But anyways, let's kick into this week, right? It's going to be a good one. I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, this whole card is actually sneaky good. If you watch The Ultimate Fighter, it's an awesome card. If you don't watch The Ultimate Fighter, it's still decent. The main event, we have Edson Barboza versus Giga Chikadze, two dominant strikers. Very fast, good volume, mix everything up. These guys are like mirror images of each other. I picked Edson to win. He's got leg kicks and more experience. Other than that, I mean, these guys are both savages. You've lowered this line, which tells me money came in on the under.
Yeah, I did. You listened to your own podcast, didn't you? No, it didn't come on. We raised Chikadze, I think. We definitely raised him. We didn't lower him because
that's right. You raised Chikadze. Yeah. You lowered Edson Barboza.
Yeah, this is one of those fights where, we started off, and this line's been moving as well, so it kind of makes sense that we had to move as well. He opened at 4.5, and it was kind of even juice, and now the juice is really trending on the under for the round totals of this fight, so it's -150, saying that, it's, what would that be, maybe 20 minutes-ish out of 25, so it's 4.5. So, yeah, I got a little excited about that one, and I think I like Barboza, and the last fight I saw with him was against Burgos, correct? And that was just a straight-up war, and I feel like he does have way more volume than Chikadze, and that was kind of the reason why he's higher than him, even though their lines are the same, is because he produces more output, and when you look at his fight logs, he obviously has quite the ceiling, and he doesn't do many 5-round fights, so I may have been a little high on him to open with, and that's cool because that's why I like people listening to the podcast, get involved all week. Because something else I'm going to tell you right now is when I put these lines out, it's like sometimes if they're a little off, it's cool because you guys are the ones that are involved from the beginning of the week to the end of the week. And I can tell you right now that the people that bet my P-Night fight all kind of come in on fight night. So if I'm off, I don't care. You guys can let me know where I'm off and we'll adjust from there. And then come fight night when all the public comes in, we're a team, So that's why I'm telling you this stuff. And I might have been a little high on Barboza, according to you guys, so I lowered it. I just don't think Chikadze has that kind of volume, so he's trickier than Barboza. So, yeah, I could see it playing out tons of ways, so we'll just let you guys dictate where we go from there. And we'll move it accordingly, right? But
yeah, it'll be these fights we mentioned on the live stream. These lines are getting harder and harder. Let's take a look. We'll skip some of these tough fights. The Daniel Rodriguez, actually, let's look at the Daniel Rodriguez Kevin Lee very quickly.
Okay, sure.
This is an interesting one because Daniel Rodriguez is a straight up boxer. Kevin Lee moving up in weight. He's basically a grappler that can hang on his feet. This line, I played less. I think there's a stoppage. I think Daniel Rodriguez, as the underdog, gets it done. Have you had to? I don't think you've moved this line at all.
This. Because it's kind of coming in even. You like the stoppage, but we still have to go off the Vegas lines first, right? Yeah. Because they're obviously there for a reason. They have 2.5 -142 over. So, and Rodriguez is a boxer who has fights, and we've seen him. I mean, obviously, this is going to be different than Mike Perry and all those. But when you take a look at his fight logs, I mean, the homeboy can throw. I mean, 145, 105, 175. So I don't think he really needs, if you're banking on the stoppage, cool, go with the under. But I think that's a generally low line for him. And again, it just kind of, you said styles make fights, right? So it's going to be a different style of a fight if you're anticipating in it. But, I do think he has great takedown defense, and I think he's going to throw. So I kind of want him high, and I encourage the unders. Go for it.
Yeah. And I pulled up my play for the main event. I actually did the more on both. I did the more on both. I had Barboza at 19 and Chikadze at 66. So I did that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I thought you guys had it split on your podcast for some reason, but that's the way the money came in. I mean,
here's the problem, man. We do so many breakdowns, and as I'm looking at it, as I'm breaking down, I feel one way. And then when I'm there, ready to put my money on it, and I'm looking at it again, it's like, oh man, this is tough. So it looks like I went more on that. And this fight, I did less. So this one, I do feel pretty strongly there will be some sort of stoppage. So I see less. If Daniel Rodriguez lands 71 strikes, I mean, he's got to have put Kevin Lee out. And if Kevin Lee's landing 64, that means he's gotten the takedown. Daniel Rodriguez should be a fish out of water on the ground, and Kevin Lee may get a submission. So that's my logic for less in this pick.
Then agree to disagree, I guess, and put your money where your mouth is. That's what's the beauty of this one. You can do something about that, right?
Exactly.
It's funny. And then you get to feel like I'm the banker in Deal or No Deal. The way you present it's like it's us versus him, and I'm just sitting in my little banker thing messing.
It is. It's us versus the line, and you set the line.
That's pretty funny. But like I said with the logic before, I don't mind doing this because come fight night, those lines are going to be tight when the public comes in, so it's awesome.
Well, and anybody watching, that's why when we do our live streams on Tuesdays, we tell you if you like it, play it now before it moves. And obviously, come fight night, the more people that play, you know, it'll definitely level off and be a pretty hard line to get. So let's take a look at Dustin Jacoby versus Darren Stewart. I hit this line early. You've actually lowered it since then. I hit it early. I played the less. They're both high volume guys. Dustin Jacoby is a straight up professional kickboxer. I just think there's a stoppage here. We've seen Darren Stewart's chin get tested. It didn't necessarily hold up. There might be some grappling in the mix. So between maybe some grappling and the fact that Dustin Jacoby can do what he does, I played the less. I'm hoping there's a stoppage here.
Yeah, and you can see that we moved our lines on here trying to account for a stoppage, and a lot of it had to do with what you said, Darren Stewart's chin. It's like I want to like Darren Stewart, and I've seen him fight a couple times. Well, and I guess the last two were both against unders, right? Because he seems like a beast of a guy, and it seems like he can crush, and I don't see it. And same with Jacoby. I think he kind of fights long and boring. To be real with you, the thing that sticks out in my mind with Jacoby is I bet on him because he was a Factory X guy, and Dan was all on him. And I watched that, and I thought he lost so bad. And I'll remember I was here at my brother's house, and I was pissing, and they announced Jacoby the winner, and we couldn't believe it. And so, trust me, I pay attention to him. So I've been watching him since because I'll never forget that. And the guy, he is a kickboxer, but he slows down the pace, and he kind of, you know, he's not a action-packed bam, 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 bam. He's just one of those pick and shot guys. And I know Stewart's the same way. And so I think it goes the distance because of that. And then the line's kind of supporting that. When you look at their round total, it's 2.5 minus 172. So they're thinking it's going to go the distance. And if it goes the distance, Jacoby, I think, gets his way. And that's why his line's up there where it is. If you're counting for a stoppage, I think you got better things to do than Monkey Knife. I mean, well, I guess you can still get better payouts than an under, but I understand your play. But bet the under round. You can get some great action there. But, you know, these guys, I understand your logic, but I also understand that I think Jacoby is a born fighter and he can kind of stick and move and keep it go the distance. And I'm kind of agreeing with Vegas, so I'm accounting with that. We had to lower Stewart because in case there is some kind of stoppage, maybe he can get his over. We'll see what happens. I don't know. I'm trying to predict this. It's hard, Angelo, right?
It's impossible. This is literally it really is. I can't imagine having to set these lines, and luckily I don't have to. And you're right. It's not like Dustin Jacoby is a knockout machine, but we've seen Darren Stewart's chin get tested. He's on the wrong side of a losing streak. So I'm playing that card. But you're right. If this ended up being a stick and move Dustin Jacoby technical striking fight, that wouldn't be shocking at all. But it was a much higher line that I played less on. So we'll see what happens. But I am looking forward to that fight. I'm all in on Dustin Jacoby. I got him everywhere.
Yeah. And you want to jump into Knockout Kings? I guess
let's jump in. You know that's my favorite.
Oh, Lord, yeah. This week, have fun. Sometimes, what's the term? It's like sometimes the bear eats you. Sometimes you eat the bear. Something like that's what this week is. It's like you guys have at it.
There's so many stoppages on this card. So I'm looking at what I already played. I have Mana Martinez, who I think is almost a guarantee. I have Muradov, who I think is almost a guarantee. And then I have Daniel Rodriguez, who is not a guarantee, but I'm pulling for him. That's the one that I played already. I put a good chunk on that. But I actually, this is what I'm going to lose, right? I haven't lost one of these in a long time. Right. This is what I'm going to
obvious one.
I picked two. I normally only do one.
Live a little, Angelo. Live a little.
That's why, I normally only do one. I'm super conservative. I'll take my 25% net profit. And then I was like, man, there's a lot of stoppages on this card. So I grabbed these three. I did 2 to 2.5 times my money. And all I need is 2 stoppages. And that's not that crazy on this card with these fighters. That's not that crazy.
You know, first thing I do is when I look at the fights that are coming up, and then I pull up the sports book and I kind of I just quickly glance the round lines to see, okay, are there any 1.5 round totals? Because those are usually the fights that indicate a knockout. And then this week it's like, shh.
Chris got so excited. His computer literally died on him. It just felt the angst and his computer died. So what Chris was saying is, as he was looking at the round totals, there was a whole bunch of 1.5, which means there was a whole bunch of knockouts expected on this card. And he just knew immediately, like, oh, we're going to take a bath on Knockout Kings this week. So this is my Knockout Kings play. Do not just copy whatever we do. Take our insight, make your own decisions. If you like it, great. But don't rely on me to pay your bills. Although I do think this one is as close to a lock as we're going to get. We're definitely going to get one knockout out of these three. I'm hoping for two. I don't usually stretch myself that far. I'm very conservative. I win consistent money, not giant money, but consistent money every week because I'm conservative. This fight, yeah, it came up a little bit, so we'll see what happens. WeWantPicks.com/MKF. If you use promo code WWP, they will instantly match your deposit. So literally free money with no strings attached. You deposit 20, they'll give you 20. You deposit 100, they'll give you 100. Take the free money, play some of these lines, dip your toes in Knockout Kings for this week for sure, and win some money. You 2.5 times your money. You can 20 times your money. There's a whole bunch of options here. Grab the promo, get the free money, play the lines, and let me know in the comments what you are going to do because I love stealing your picks. See you on Saturday.